Flow control. When TCP connection receives bytes that are correct and in sequence, it places the data in the receive buffer. The associated application process will read data from this buffer, but not necessarily at the instant the data arrives. Indeed, the receiving application may be busy with some other task and may not even attempt to read the data until long after it has arrived. If the application is relatively slow at reading the data, the sender can very easily overflow the connection's receive buffer by sending too much data too quickly. TCP provides a flow control service to its applications to eliminate the possibility of the sender overflowing the receiver's buffer. Flow control is thus a speed matching service, matching the rate at which the sender is sending against the rate at which the receiving application is reading. Okay. TCP provides flow control by having the sender maintain a variable called the receive window. The receive window is used to give the sender an idea of how much free buffer space is available at the receiver side. Okay. Suppose consider an example that host A is sending a large file to host B over a TCP connection. Host B allocates a receive buffer to this connection, denoted its size by receive buffer. Okay. From time to time, the application process in host B reads from the buffer. Define the following variables. That is, first one, last byte read. It is the number of the last byte in the data stream read from the buffer by the application process in B. Next, last byte received. This is the number of the last byte in the data stream that has arrived from the network and has been placed in the receive buffer at B. Okay. Because TCP is not permitted to overflow the allocated buffer, we must have last byte received minus last byte read less than or equals to receive buffer. Last byte received minus last byte read less than or equal to receive buffer. Okay. The receive window denoted RWND is set to the amount of spare room in the buffer. That is RWND equals to receive buffer minus last byte received minus last byte read. Okay. Because the spare room changes with time, RWND is dynamic. And this variable that RWND is illustrated in the figure. This figure. See here, this is RWND, spare room, and this is receive buffer. Okay. Next, host B tells host A how much spare room it has in the connection buffer by placing its current value of RWND in the receive window field of every segment it sends to A. Okay. Initially, host B sets RWND equals to receive buffer. RWND equals to receive buffer. Note that to pull this off, host B must keep track of several connection-specific variables. Host A, in turn, keeps track of two variables, that is, last byte sent and last byte acknowledged. The difference between these two variables, that is last byte sent minus last byte acknowledged, is the amount of unacknowledged data that A has sent into the connection. By keeping the amount of unacknowledged data less than the value of RWND, host A is assured that it is not overflowing the receive buffer at host B. Okay. Thus, host A makes sure throughout the connection's life that last byte sent minus last byte acknowledged is less than or equals to RWND. The TCP specification requires host A to continue to send segments with one data bytes when B's receive window is 0, and these segments will be acknowledged by the receiver. Eventually, the buffer will begin to empty and the acknowledgement will contain a non-zero RW and ND value. Okay. Thank you.